Ohoro. Oh, it's been a long time coming. By the way, what I just said, Ohoro means how are you? Or Ohoro is news, like what's up in my language. My language is Kikuyu. But before, like I told you, before I tell you who I am and why I'm doing this, I told you there's something very important I want to talk about. And this is about something called Jantelov. Jantelov is it's a very Nordic thing. I'll call it thing. And if you wonder, love is basically low. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm going to be reading. Because today I don't want to say things that that are wrong or might offend someone else. I just want to be right if I can. If I'm not right, please feel free to write and comment and tell me, okay, this is not right and this is how it should be. So let me go down. What is Jantelov? And to the Norwegians, please, my apologies, just in case I say things or I pronounce the wrong way. So basically, Jantelov is you can say it's like a foundation of society. Okay, some people they say it's it's a way that has been put to dictate how you should behave. Or you can also think about it this way. It's putting society first before individual, not boasting about yourself or your personal achievements, and also not being jealous of other people. So it's basically that's how I can say it, as simple as that. Anyway, it's a set of 10 laws or unspoken it's basically it's unspoken social norm, if I can say it that way. So I'm going to try to translate them in English, and I hope I can do the best job when it comes to this. So what is Jantelov, and why I'm talking about Jantelov is because it dictates a lot about how Norwegians behave. Even myself, I've discovered that after I came to Norway, and by the way, I'm having this in my mouth. I'll tell you later what it's about. It's yeah, and you'll understand why I'm having it. Anyway, so where was I? I was talking about why I want to talk about Janteloven before I start even going on with my other videos. The reason because it's pretty much something that is in the society and you can feel it. For me as an outsider, I feel it more probably than other Norwegians or the Norwegians can, because this is for them. It's their way of life. They have grown up to this. They don't know anything else but that. For me as an outsider, I look at it differently. And even before anybody ever told me about Janteloven, I could understand. There was something about people trying to keep it, trying to seem they're equal. And when I finish talking about the Janteloven, I want you to think. I will give you an exercise that you will work on, so you tell me if you notice the difference. Anyway, so there are 10 of them, and I will try to go as fast as I can through them. And so what is Janteloven? I have already said Janteloven is more like a foundation of what guides the society, or you can say it's a set of rules that dictate how you should behave or whatever. I think we have different ways of looking at it. So the number one is don't think you are anything special. Don't think you're good in anything. Don't think you are wiser than me or us. Don't think you can teach us anything. Now that's where we come back. Remember number 4. Number 5. Don't think you know more than others. Number 6. Don't think you have more than us. Number 7. Don't think anything is suitable. You're suitable for something. Okay. Number 8. Don't laugh at us or others. Number 9. Don't think someone cares about you. And number 10. Don't think you can teach us anything. Wow. Number 4 and number 10. Wow. Anyway, so those are the Janteloven. Jante, not Jante. I don't know why I keep saying Jante, because Jante is a girl. Jante. It's not girls' rules. It would be nice, but it's Janteloven, and there's something a lot of people don't sit well with it. And like me, as an outsider, when I think about it, I think it like this. I see the difference because, for example, when I came to Norway, I had a big problem with it because I'm used to, or I come to a society where we talk about, first we talk about our failures or where we came from, especially if we took somewhere very down, or we have done things that are so bad, we talk about it, and then we try to kind of, it sounds like we're bragging, you know, we're trying to tell us, you know, look at where I am now. I have been down there, I am here. For us, we look at it as inspiration. You know, you want to motivate people, you want to tell people that you can be down there, now look at where I am, so you can be like me. But when I came to Norway, I understood that was not, it didn't sound like motivation. It sounded more like I was bragging, and I used to, I like talking, and especially when we went to places, conferences and things, and people were, they were very interested to talk to me, and oh yeah, where are you from? And I oh, my mouth was like talking, telling them who I am and what I've been doing, and then, but then I could understand after some time of talking, people would be like, oh, what you're talking is not, I put off people in a way that I did not understand I was even putting them off. But I was putting them off in a way that it's because I was telling them, what I was thinking are my achievements came off as, bragging. And I can understand, I come from a country where, of course, Kenya is, I think, 46th most poorest country in the world, even though we have a lot of resources, sorry to say, and I don't want to go political about this right now, probably another day. But, for me, to talk about my downfall is not a problem, but it is in a way. People don't like talking about their failures, because they only want to talk about good things. And today I would want to hear this from Norwegians, because it would be interesting if they see things the way me as an outsider. And I'm not just talking on for how I see Norway, but also how other foreigners, because I think I've had conversation with other Norwegians and with other foreigners, and we kind of have almost similar way we look at Norway, or how we have experienced Norway. And Norwegians are very careful, especially shameful things they don't talk about. For me, I can talk about a shameful thing without even thinking it's shameful. I will talk about it as a learning tool that I've, or learning experience, and then I can use the same shame to show people that, look, the shame I went through, and now look at, after being there, look at where I am now because of, and that's why I say to people, I'm very shameless. I'm not afraid to speak about my downfalls. I'm not afraid, and I think that helps me a lot, because when you speak about your weaknesses, then you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to be afraid of. But when you have your weaknesses and you're worried about what the other people or the society is going to say about you, then that becomes a problem, because you're always wondering, there's this shell, this is something you have to cover it, and you have to hold it, and sometimes you don't even have the energy or even the resources to keep hiding. So and I think that's Janteloven is a very good way of having a society, people thinking that, okay, we are equal and things like that. I think I kind of like it. People don't think of themselves better than you. They can think in their head, of course. You don't control how people feel in their head, but at least they will not show you. One thing in Norway is that you will never call even a professor. You will call him his name John or Peterson or whatever. So I think that, to me, is it's very, it's good. Everything has its good side and bad side, and when you think about it, for example, if you compare Norway and unfortunately I'm comparing Norway with like US or even some African countries, because if you look like in Africa, most of the system we use according to the country that colonized us. Well, probably Tanzania is one of the few countries that has refused to go as per the colonizers. But like for us in Kenya, we are very, very British in so many ways we do things. If probably I was to go to UK, I would fit in, like, except my color, and except, of course, I'm from the village, so my English is not pew pew, peace at last. So I don't have that accent, the British, or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that I do love that Norway, the society tries to be very equal. And as much as, like they say, don't think anybody cares about you, I think that's not true. I think there's no country in the world that I've not been into the whole world, but I think Norway cares about people. When you are there, when you're in Norway, and I think they do care, when it comes to, if you need help, they do help. You do get help as much as you can. of course, if you're reaching everything that they need, you need to fulfill, of course, everything that is required. But that's not what I want to talk about politics. But I think with Janteloven, somehow I will probably kind of divert to politics. But when it comes to the society and how the society is, we do have, and especially in Norway, I think Norway is a very interesting society until you come to live in Norway, until you encounter Norwegians, and it's not your first year, not the second year, not the third year. There are people who have still lived in Norway for 10 years and they say, I don't understand Norwegians. And the reason why I say this, it's there is actually, there's something we say typisk norsk. Norwegians, or most people, they say don't generalize things, but at the same time, there are things they don't mind being told. It's typical Norwegian. And there is a guy, I'll show you a book I'm reading in the Norwegian class. That's the book. And one of the page, it's a language, but also it brings a lot. It talks about culture a lot. And there is this guy. I don't know if I can. Yeah, there is a guy there, and he's talking about what is typical Norwegian. He's Canadian. I'm going to put his link on the depths. What am I saying? Now I'm starting to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to put his link down there, and you can read about him, and you can see what he talks about, how he talks about the Norwegian culture. And one of the things he says is that if you want to learn, you have to learn to understand how Norwegians think. That means you just can't you just can't look at a Norwegian and they go, well, now I know what you're thinking. No. You have to learn. You have to almost study Norwegians. He has written an article about how the facial expression of Norwegians, and this is how it is. This is Norwegians when they're happy. This is Norwegians when they are sad. This is Norwegians when they are frustrated. This is Norwegians when they are whatever. And this is Norwegians when they are drunk. They're happy. I was wondering how I'm going to make it to laugh, but it's so funny when I think about it, because if you want to say you're drunk in Norwegian, then I'll tell you I'm laughing. You say full, F-U-L-L. Okay? Now, in English, you can also say I'm full, meaning you're satisfied. And I remember one time I said, Leland, would you like some more food or something? I don't remember what I was at. And I said, yeah, full. That means I'm drunk. That's why I laughed, because there's a lot of Norwegian English words that are used in Norwegian, and they're written like English, but they mean totally different. So, and we will talk about that another day. Anyway, so I will put that link about this guy. He's Canadian, by the way, and he has a very different way, or he tries to talk about the Norwegian society and how it is, and the differences. And also, of course, he also talk about we can be different, but at the same time, diversity is a good thing, as long as, of course, you're open-minded and you want to learn and all that. But I don't know if today I feel like I've not made much sense in my head when I'm speaking, because like I said, I'm really tired, because I just discovered one thing. I haven't eaten for 22 hours, and right now I feel it's not even 23 hours now, and now I feel a bit tired, and I really hope that this can be a way that will make you understand why the Norwegians behave the way they behave. Norwegians are not the kind of people who will wear Gucci, or they do. I'm not saying they don't get me wrong, but it's not like they're so fascinated by Gucci as many countries. I want you to understand that even when they speak very low-key. Even a Norwegian, when they're bragging, they're not going to brag in a... Norwegians do brag. I have to say that. They do brag, but they do it in a very low-key way. I have a friend of mine also. He has done some videos, and I'll also put his link down. And when I watched his videos, I was probably 6 months in Norway, and I was like, wow, I could relate to him. I think he talks about when he was 40, he buys a car, and he's Italian, and he is thinking, wow, I have bought a car. This is something I've been wanting to do, and he's so proud of himself. And he was thinking, the neighbors are going to, oh, congratulations, blah blah blah. No, he didn't get that. I mean, the first thing that they're asking is like, is it electrical? How many miles? How much do you have to, you know, if it's electrical, how far can you drive before you charge? They're asking him all the practical questions, and that's normal Norwegians. And it's very interesting because with this Janteloven, I will tell you what happens. If you tell a Norwegian, you look good, chances of them saying thank you is almost none. They're not. They'll probably give you an excuse. They'll be like, I bought it last year. They will not. Some actually even feel that it's too much. I remember one woman said that it's the daughter actually was telling me that the mom was working with this African guy, and every time the mom walked in, the guy would always say, "Oh, you look nice today," or something like that. Especially like on a Monday when she has done her hair, she's like, "Oh, today your hair looks nice." And this woman thought, this is a little bit too weird. 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're telling me, oh, my hair looks nice. So she started getting really, really uncomfortable with it, and she was wondering, is he hitting on me? Is he harassing me or something? And when she got to understand that 8 o'clock in the morning, an African guy will tell you how good you're looking, or they will notice your hair or your shoes. It's like they notice everything when you have new. And they were like, she was like, I didn't know. I was just thinking he's harassing me, or he's just, being too close to me, and I didn't want that. And it was very interesting to hear that. And that happens that, in Norway, people are very distant. When you're working, you're very professional. Of course, people, of course, cross the line, and I'm not saying people are so pure and that they don't do wrong things here, but I think people really, really try. And even though people sometimes they cross the line, they will hide it till probably they die. They will never ever come clean and say, oh, I did this wrong. They keep it to themselves, because it's not something to be proud of, unlike other countries where people can openly talk about, some of the things we have done wrong, and 10 years later we think, okay, I can't go to jail. I can talk about it openly, and like, yeah, I got away with it, kind of a thing. But here it's not. I think people are very careful, and people, and to me, I can talk about the Norwegian society for a long, long, long time. And I wish I could, like when you think, don't think you're special, yeah. Oh, I think, like I said, number 4, which is don't think you're teaching us anything. I think that to me, I have to be very careful and say, when I'm posting these videos, I'm not trying to teach anybody anything. And I don't think I'm wiser than anybody. This is basically my experience, how I see Norway, and I'm not closing anybody out who wants to have a conversation or even have a debate with me and tell me something different, or make me understand that probably some of the things that I say are wrong, or it's not how they are. And of course, there's number 10. You think you can teach? Yeah. But there's one thing you'll always hear with Norwegians. They say this: don't think you're good in anything. Number 2, they will say about the football. They say, maybe if we change this Janteloven, maybe our football team would do better. But I would also say one thing: as much as they have this Janteloven, there are no people in the world that are so proud of their country like the Norwegians. Oh yes, never criticize Norway in front of Norwegians, by the way, because some people will not take it kindly. And at the same time, they think they are good in many, many things. So the Norwegians are not afraid to say, oh, we are good at this, look at us, we are doing this and this and this and this and this. But as long as they say we, they're okay with it. But they will never say I. Because it goes back to Janteloven. And this is my question to the Norwegians. Do you really think about it when you say it? Or when you hear me saying it, do you now think about that? Yes, you can be proud of your country and come off very, very proud people, or you can come off very arrogant, actually, sometimes, like, your nose up high, and, we are better, and you have this bubble around you. Do you think about it that way? Or when I mention it, is when you think about it? Because Norwegians can be, they can come off a bit like, we are better than everybody else in the world. But As an individual, they will never say that. Actually, if you ever want to irritate a Norwegian, ask a Norwegian, do you think you're better than me? Oh, that is something that many of them will take really, really hard. They just don't take it lightly when you say that. So this is just some of the things that I'm saying. So you can think about what I've said. You can now understand why Norwegians, they behave the way they behave, in a way. And even the Norwegians themselves, sometimes I think they really don't think much about it because it's so in them, that when they win as a society. They don't win as an individual. But I can also say one thing. I think there's nothing wrong with talking about your achievements, because you can talk about your achievements without looking at people in a negative way. You can, not negative, sorry, no, I'm talking about without looking down on people, or without looking at it in a negative way, that, oh, I am better, or I am good at this because the rest of the people are worse than me. No, I think you can brag with your achievements without having to think that it's a bad thing. And also at the same time, you can also look at another person, celebrate their achievement without being jealous. I think, to me, we are so used to, in my culture, we grew up, having number one to the last. And these are things that are hanged on the wall. Can you imagine when you're in class 1 and you have to walk in and you have to be queued in front of my first primary school? We were 1,000 people, almost. Not maybe that. Yeah, we probably were. Okay, we were 8 classes, from class 1 up to class 8. One class at least had 40 students. 40 times 4 is 160. Yeah, and 160 plus 160 times 8 is 0.8. Yep, we were around 1,080. That's true. The whole school. And can you imagine, you're 8 years old or 6 years old when we start class 1, and you're paraded in front of 1,280 people, and parents also. This is the last day of the school, and you're called from number 1, from number 2, and whatever. And as number 1 comes, people are clapping, no. And then you're the last one, maybe number 90. Now, do you understand why we as Africans, we don't have shame? When you can do anything to, we don't have shame, because that's something that was stripped off from us. Anyway, think about that, and maybe this is a topic that I will talk about the next time. Something that is not in Norway. People here, especially not just Norway, but I believe it's in the Nordic countries, you don't give numbers in schools. So that gives me another thing to talk about, and that's the education system. So please, I'm asking you one thing. I would love to hear what you think about this talk today. Today I'm really, really tired and my mind is all over the place, but I do hope that you have gotten something from this. And I'm gonna put as many links below, so you can check on what I talked about. And at the same time, please comment, like, subscribe, and let's engage, so that I can also learn from you. I want you to learn from me, but I also want to learn from you. And let's have some fun. I hope every time we have this conversation, we're gonna have something to talk about. Have a good night.